Well, hey folks, it's Mike from Profiling Evil, and I'm here in San Diego at the International Chiefs of Police meeting. And I just had a flashback that I'd promised Gabby Petito's parents that I'd put out a video about domestic violence and the laws surrounding mandatory arrests. Don't miss this one. Well, welcome to Profiling Evil. I'm actually here in San Diego getting ready to do a presentation for the International Chiefs of Police. As soon as they open the door in about 30 minutes, I'm going to be on this stage behind me. But this is a throwback video. It's something that I did a long time ago at the height of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie's case. Now, Laundrie hadn't been located yet, and I ran across it after I was chatting with Gabby's mother about their visit to Ogden, Utah, and that monarch mural in my hometown. When I opened the video, I realized that I had released it early to the members of the Profiling Evil Academy membership level, but I forgot to make this thing public. Now, it's such an important topic that I hope you don't mind me introducing it now at a much later date, especially because it's October, and October is Domestic Violence Month. So please make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button and consider joining our channel memberships. But for now, let's talk about mandatory arrest laws in cases of domestic violence. You know, mandatory arrest laws have been in place, and they put requirements on police to arrest the alleged batterer regardless of any evidence or the wishes of the victims. Now, in cases like Gabby Petito's case down in Moab, Utah, and police interaction, many argued that Gabby's life could have been saved by that mandatory arrest. Many opponents to mandatory arrest statutes argue pretty convincingly that it might actually reduce the likelihood of these kinds of cases moving forward. Now, we know that there were independent witnesses in Gabby's case that reported the abuse to Moab police. Now, the idea behind mandatory arrest came after a study that was completed in Minnesota clear back in 1984. The study discovered that arrests in domestic violence situations was the most successful way to diffuse a situation and prevent more harm. It was the best way to protect the victim, remove the alleged attacker, while ensuring that the victim received, some level of psychological and physical support. Now, in many cases, the victim in these kinds of cases is too afraid to demand protection, so the court action in mandatory arrest exposes the case to the judicial system. Now, detractors to the law feel that mandatory arrest policies can actually have the opposite effect. They say mandatory arrests don't guarantee that the offender is going to end up being convicted of the crime, and the victim may not be successful in getting a restraining order or other kinds of protection. And that would place the victim at greater risk, having an angry perpetrator back at their door soon after their release. I want your thoughts on this one. Now, some legal experts feel that mandatory arrests negatively impact the accused people and point to examples where a neighbor might misinterpret sounds heard through a wall or read more into interactions of a couple arguing about something. Domestic violence charges, even when determined to be unfounded, could damage a person's reputation. Even if it's untrue, saying they were involved can damage their reputation. Well, during the height of the controversy around Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie and their police interaction in Moab, Utah, I created a video that I released to members of the Profiling Evil Academy. Now, I meant for the video to be released to the public a week later, but somehow I missed the calendar date. So I want to go back and let you watch that short video. Police going to get anything right in the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie murder case? I mean, the independent review is out. I want to take a moment and explore the Moab police and how they scored, in my opinion. The tables have turned from the allegations that police don't care enough to concerns that they cared too much. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Profiling Evil on Court TV in this Academy session. I'm joining Julie Grant as we talk about the case of Gabby Petito. I hope that you'll take a moment and hit the like and the subscribe button over here and ring the bell so that you get notifications on all of our videos. And please share the Academy with your friends. Now, an independent review into the handling of the case of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie shows that the Moab City Police Department made a few unintentional mistakes in the August 12th, 2021 call. Listen as we discuss this case on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. So a new report is released on Wednesday revealing some details in the Gabby Petito case we haven't heard about before. A complaint was filed with the Moab City Police Department, and then an independent agency completed a review of how the situation was handled back on this day, August 12th, 2021, that violence incident between Gabby Petito and her boyfriend or fiance, Brian Laundrie. So during this investigation, the independent agency found the officers who responded made several what they call unintentional mistakes, including that they should have cited Petito for domestic violence, assessing that she was the aggressor. Also found that a statement was never obtained from the original 911 caller. So the city of Moab released a statement responding to the report, saying they plan to implement the report's recommendations. They believe, quote, believe our officers showed kindness, respect, and empathy in their handling of this incident, end quote. Very hard to second guess law enforcement. I acknowledge that hindsight is 20/20, but let's look at this a little further. I want to bring back in our guests, Attorney Dave Ehrenberg and retired police commander Mike King. Mike, to you first on this one. Law enforcement making some unintentional mistakes. What do you see here, if anything, that was a mistake in what they did, please?
You know, this is the real big challenge that I think police officers face, because they are given a little latitude to decide at what point something is done, especially something that includes an arrest and detaining someone and sending them away, versus what they intended on doing, which was getting him in to see a judge the following day. In an era where we're seeing police officers challenged over and again for not having a big enough heart, now we're complaining because they erred on the side of trying to help out and give these kids a little slack. The problem is, you look at it and you wonder, could this have saved Gabby's life if she'd have been forced through an arrest into a position where she had to meet a judge and put things on the record?
Before I do, I want to pause for a second with Christmas rolling in and the holiday season and tell you a little bit about Profiling Evil books. Now, many of you have purchased my books through our website, profilingevil.com, or on Amazon. Well, I recently released a newly updated book called Predators: Who They Are and How to Stop Them. It's a book I wrote alongside my friend and mentor, FBI Special Agent and profiler Greg Cooper. It's a great read, but I want to talk about my favorite books, which are Deceived, an investigative memoir of the Zion Society cult, and She Knew No Fear. Now, Deceived chronicles my investigation into and the ultimate takedown of a ritual cult that was sexually abusing children. You know, there were more than 4,000 rapes of those children that occurred in a case that resulted in 12 people being convicted of child sex crimes. I wrote the book after some of the victims reached out to me 30 years later, asking me to tell their story. I want you to know I'm not profiting from the book, and the proceeds are going toward building a new children's advocacy center, which you see pictured here. It is a place where children can be forensically and physically examined and prepared for the court system. The center is set to break ground in November of this year, and I really hope you'll buy my book, because the proceeds are going directly to help build that building. Now, you can help by purchasing Deceived. The other book I want to talk about, though, is She Knew No Fear. It's the story of the murder of my great-great-grandmother. And the murder occurred on July 24th, 1891. Now, that's statehood day for Utah. I had heard about Jane from my grandfather all of my life, and as my law enforcement career was coming to an end, I thought to myself, wait a minute. I've spent an entire career investigating and solving cold cases.
I wondered why I hadn't solved my very own relative's murder. And 130 years after she was shot to death, I solved the crime. I think you'd really enjoy the story, and it would give you an opportunity to get a great Christmas gift for yourself or a loved one. Now, I've priced this book at $30 for a signed hardbound copy of Jane, and you can get it by emailing me directly at profilingevil@gmail.com. And then I'll respond with some shipping and payment information. And we can also find out what you want the book to say in my personal inscription to you. But now, let's get back to today's video. You can check out the laws in your own state, but under Utah law, the term domestic violence can be defined as a pattern of abusive or aggressive behavior in a relationship where one partner has power or control over another intimate partner. Now, police officers should make an arrest if there's enough probable cause to believe that, number one, the accused may continue to hurt the victim. Number two, the accused has recently caused serious injury to the victim. Or, number three, the accused has violated a protective order. I don't believe Moab police felt that Gabby would hurt Brian again. And frankly, I don't believe that he wasn't capable of defending himself. The injuries were certainly not serious, and there wasn't a protection order in place. So this creates a really tough position for law enforcement. But it's a place where the report identified that mistakes were made. You know, this one could have really gone either way. I'd encourage you to go over to Court TV and watch the entire interview on this topic. But for now, I'm going to put a link below where you can read the Moab Police case review. Now, since you're all members of the Academy, I'd like you to weigh in on whether you think police officer discretion should be taken away in these kinds of cases. Hey, and while you're at it, tell me if you think they would have benefited by having a social worker present. I'm going to be looking for your comments below.
Now, it's October, and October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I thought this would be the perfect time to release this video. Now, the Gabby story has been put to bed, and a lot of things are happening with the family, but this thing comes on the heels of an opportunity that I had to meet with Gabby's family at CrimeCon. At one point, Gabby's mom and I sat and chatted about the Monarch display where she was last seen, one of the last places she was photographed, and it's this beautiful monarch butterfly mural in my hometown of Ogden. I spoke with Gabby's mother about the mural, the city, and the tragedy that unfolded only a few days after that photograph was taken. It was really an emotional moment for us, and I really enjoyed meeting with her and feeling of her love and compassion. Now, I hope that you'll weigh in on whether or not you believe mandatory arrests in domestic violence cases should be a law in every corner of the world. In America alone, nearly 20 people are physically abused by an intimate partner every single minute. Now that equates to more than 10 million people per year, just in America. So let's add all of your countries from all of the folks that are watching Profiling Evil. That means 33% of all women and 25% of all men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. Now, on a typical day, there are more than 20,000 phone calls placed to domestic violence hotlines nationwide, and intimate partner violence accounts for about 15% of all violent crimes. So I'm hoping that having a little more information now, that you might feel comfortable in weighing in. What are your thoughts on mandatory arrest in cases of domestic violence? I hope that you'll put your comments down below, and I hope you'll be kind with each other as they express their opinions. Some of you may have been victims of domestic violence. Some may have been perpetrators. So let's take this time to learn from each other, and please do a little research on domestic violence during this month of October every single year. Hey, thanks for your support of Profiling Evil, and I hope you're hitting that like and subscribe button, and that I hope you're sharing this with all your friends and contacts. You can find Profiling Evil on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And don't forget to check out Profiling Evil podcasts on your favorite podcast platform. Hey, thanks a lot, folks. And from Southern California and the site of the International Chiefs of Police meeting, I hope you have a great day. We'll see you soon at the next crime scene.